Hello folks, and thank you for joining me for this bike ride. Today we are out at Forest Park, starting at the Steinberg skating rink. Now you'll have to forgive me, the primary camera, the camera with the microphone, for some reason I did not set it to record, so you'll have to use your imagination. Just listen along, and you can hopefully visualize this stuff. If you really concentrate, you can see and almost hear my narration from what would have been on that camera had it recorded. So that being said, off to the right of where we are now, there's a lake, small lake here. They have some restoration going on, like in a lot of other places. Not the street you see there on the left, but further up on the left is Kings Highway. We're kind of heading roughly toward Highway 40 or Interstate 64. You know, Forest Park is really designed for people to have whatever activities they like, whether it be bicycling, walking, skateboarding, various sports, and there are other things here. And the purpose of this video is to give you a tour of some of what's available in Forest Park. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of construction. There's a really nice, like a creek that flows down. I don't know if it's artificially flowing down, but it like comes out of the rocks and flows down, but it's over there on the left. Really nice area to see. Especially during the spring, whenever there's a lot of water flowing through there, that's really nice. You can kind of wade up in there and things. But it's closed right now. I know there were some issues last time I was there. All the trails leading to it are closed, by the way, not just that one. So as you'll see here in a moment, so this trail coming from up here is also closed. Now later we'll come back here. The first trail was the biking trail, then the walking trail and the biking trail, but this is a little spur that goes off. It's kind of neat. You know, they're really working on the landscaping here in Forest Park, and although it looks terrible while they do it, this is one of those trails to that area that's closed off. You can see over here to the left, it does not look that great. It's rather ugly at the moment, or they're working on that. But in any case, so what you're seeing ahead of us there, that is Highway 40. And we're going to go under it, of course. Now, technically, in Forest Park is the Science Center that you can see now. It's a really cool place to visit. Not as cool as it used to be, perhaps, but it's really cool. There's parking on the street and behind it. And of course, to the left is the high school, St. Louis University High. Now, briefly there, if you're facing the Science Center, off to the right, you can see the walking bridge. There's a walking bridge that goes over Highway 40, and there is a tunnel that goes under. And they're both kind of cool for different reasons. Perhaps the tunnel a little bit more so, first because it's a tunnel, and second because of what's in it. But you can see there's like radar guns and see-through areas in the bottom of the bridge and things that make it kind of cool too. Alright, see all there over on the right, that's all various ways under construction, so they don't want you over there right now. But that's okay. It's more of a walking area than a bicycling area anyway, unless you're just taking a shortcut through. So we're going to come up here and we're going to turn around and take the trail we did not take earlier. Make sure you concentrate hard and you can see some things. For example, if you concentrate really hard, you can imagine, see in your head, some dinosaurs off to the right, which is kind of cool. And that's not the only cool thing in this area. That the tunnel and the walking bridge from the Science Center over there, kind of on the left, come over here, excuse me, to the Planetarium, which is also a really cool place to see. And there's the Planetarium. Sometimes, like during Christmas, they'll put a bow on there. Sometimes it's lit up at night. So really cool to drive by that at night. That's various colors, and sometimes the colors will change. But yes, they decorate that with colors and bows or whatever for different seasons or events or remembrances or whatever. Now over on the right, you can see the highway patrols or the police, the mounted police stable. Maybe we'll take a look at that a little later. This bike does not like going up hills. In this section of the video, at least, we will just be taking a ride on the outer trail around the park. So, you can get that view. And of course, you can use your imagination. Again, this is kind of paralleling Interstate 64 or Highway 40 on the left. This is kind of mid-morning, so there's a lot of people out. Now, in your imagination, I'm sure that my narration is making the video kind of wander back and forth. It bounces and shakes and things. That's just your imagination. Just steady now. Now, over on the left, there's things like Forest Park Community College. There's the Daniel and Henry building, something like that. There's various things. On the right, you can see some greenhouses. Excuse me. I'm really not sure how active those greenhouses are. So I think that's the Daniel and Henry building with that kind of curved roof over there on the left. A whole bunch of equipment over here on the right. Of course, the park is pretty much to the right. vistas in Forest Park here. Now, right at this section, the walking trail and the bicycling trail join up. Although it seems, no matter what the signage says, that the bicycling group uses the walking trail and the walking group uses the bicycle trail. So I'm really not sure why they're trying to pull a signage up if obviously no one is paying any attention to it or abiding by it. There's some informational signage in various places throughout the park, just so you know what you're looking at and can better understand it. Without the signage, sometimes you might just pass it right on by. Now we can call this a tour of the park. I'm not lost yet. It's always a possibility, though. So up here on the right is the zoo parking lot, one of them. This is one of the largest free zoos in the United States. There you can see the big sign for the zoo. And the video that you see in your head, it's imaginary. You probably have the zoo sign kind of curving a little bit, but nope, in real life it's perfectly straight. It's made of concrete, I guess. But this zoo is pretty large. It's generally worth visiting. We'll take a look at that later. Well, the outside of the zoo, that is. But this time we're heading on down. We're continuing this perimeter trail right here. Probably imagining a lot of wind. And certainly there was a fair amount of wind on that day. Now, I understand your imagination has its limits. I will eventually realize that the camera is not recording, and I'll start recording. So then you can see the actual video. Hopefully it lives up to whatever your imagination had thus far. This perimeter trail gives you a pretty good stretch of the legs. It would really help if I turned on the camera. How annoying is that? There are a lot of pavilions available here. for a variety of uses. That trail to the right is for the foot traffic. We're on the wheels traffic. That would be the heels traffic over there. Remember, no enjoying those bumps on my videos. Those are for somebody else's videos. Just the cracks for us. Ooh, congestion ahead. I guess that's one way to exercise your arms. I don't really have to pedal here, it's honestly downhill. The thing about these water fountains they place along the way, they're almost always non-functional, whether they're off or whatever. So don't count on those. Golf course on my right. Yes, cold makes my nose run for sure, amongst other things. Just about everything, come to think of it. But factually, I have a runny nose year-round. So it isn't only during the cold season that I'm blessed with a runny nose. Runners galore.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Sometimes the foliage hangs a bit low. Oh, there's another one. I believe this is Lindell off to my left. So some large houses over here. That guy looked vaguely familiar from earlier. Guy's mowing his driveway. Gotta love the spandex crowd. These scooters all over, these are rental scooters, and they are all over. They make the city look like trash. And generally the scooters provide an opportunity for people that are obnoxious to be more persistently obnoxious. So if you have someone that has no regard for anyone else, and then give them a fast way to get around and get more places, then they're just obnoxious to more people in more places. And of course you pay for, I'm not for sure if it's time or distance on those, but whatever it is, people are told to just ditch them wherever, and they take that literally. So as I said, trashing the city. I did try one of those scooters, not one of the ones we saw, but there's several different companies in the area that do it, and one of the companies I tried a scooter, and it really wasn't a pleasant experience. They do have limits on where you can take them. The wheels are very small, so the ride experience really isn't that great. And I felt it restricted me more than gave me freedom. But I guess it's an attitude. Are you being considerate when you ride, or are you being a jerk? And I hope I was being considerate. This would be the History Museum on my right. Guess I'm over here. The History Museum used to be pretty okay, but they decided to get political and push an agenda, and in the last few years it's just an agenda. It's almost not even worth going there anymore. We have some handball courts, racquetball courts off to my right. Well, one thing about the sun, it's out, and I am using my talent of getting the sun directly in my eyes. So I apologize, the sun's probably in your eyes, shining directly on the camera too. But never fear, that's just to show that I am using my one true talent. The suspension on this bike is in the category of non-existent. It's more of a visual thing. You see it? It looks like suspension. But then you ride the bike and you feel no suspension. I've tried several different suspension seat posts and things. All the ones people said, oh, this one's great. And to be honest, obviously none of them were even good. You can barely see that guy coming. Oh, water with scum on it to my left. There are a lot of waterways here in Forest Park. Now, Forest Park was home to the 1904 World's Fair, and it was kind of swampy. Part of the deal in order for them to host the 1904 World's Fair was that they clean up the swamp, which they mostly did. There's small waterways here. Now, you can see it sits pretty low. Got waterways on both sides of me. But there were several buildings that were built as part of the 1904 World's Fair. Several of those buildings are meant to be permanent, and some were temporary. So as I was saying, some of the buildings were meant to be permanent and some were temporary. Permanent buildings included the History Museum, the Art Museum, the World's Fair Pavilion. It seems like there's some more. But obviously the permanent buildings are still here more than 100 years later. Remember what I said about considerate riding? this way for a bit. In front of me here is Steinberg Rink. In the winter time, this is an ice skating rink. Sometimes it's used for other activities. They have a nice bonfire. Over on the other side, you can get hot chocolate and marshmallows and things. They do skate rentals. All right. So that was one view of Forest Park.